I completely transformed my front porch stairs in just one weekend for $350. No jackhammer, no demo, just some pressure treated wood and a plan. I'm gonna walk you through exactly how I did this, the materials, the process, what I do differently, and I think you'll be surprised at how approachable this actually is. We're talking 2 power tools, 1 weekend, and a budget that's gonna make you do a double take. I mean, seriously, stick around. The cost breakdown alone is worth it.
I need you to keep up, I'm slowing down anymore.
Can we just talk about concrete steps for a second? Because whoever decided that that is an acceptable first impression of a home, I have questions. It's not charming. It's not rustic. It's giving 1987 municipal building, specifically. And if you've been living with steps like this, then you know. Every day you come home, you walk up them, and you think in your head, someday I'll fix them. Well, today is that day. So here's the thing about concrete steps. People think you have to demo them to make them look good, but you don't. You can just build right over them. And the result, honestly, looked more intentional and custom than if I had started from scratch. I'll drop the full materials list in the description. The cost breakdown is at the end of the video, but for now, let's get into the build. Okay, full transparency, the title says no demo, and that is true for the concrete. But when I started pulling things apart at the top, the old threshold and the sill were completely rotted. I mean, this house is 180 years old, so there's that. It wasn't in the plan, but it also wasn't optional. If there's rotted wood in the mix, deal with it first. I'm glad I caught this. So I did have to do a little demo to replace those 2 things before I could frame up the rest, but if yours are in good condition, you can probably just leave them. My first step was to build the top step. I couldn't help myself. I used 2x8 boards and I framed out like a big rectangle basically with joists inside, spaced about 16 inches apart. This is gonna sit on the very top step. It's gonna give us a foundation to attach the stair stringers to, and it's gonna be the very first wider step of the little tiny front porch. And just a note, everything touching the slab or the ground is pressure treated wood. That's not negotiable. We're trying to get these to last as long as possible. So basically off of this box, we're gonna have stair stringers that are pre-cut. We're gonna attach those on, and then we're gonna have 2x6 boards that go on the fronts of those, attaching them together, but also resting on the concrete steps to bear some of the weight. My original concrete steps were about 3 feet wide, but I wanted my new steps to be dramatic and 8 feet long, so I had to expand the footprint. I used 4x4 pressure treated posts on the edges to support the weight of the new footprint. The concrete is still doing the heavy lifting in the center and bearing the majority of the weight. The 4x4 posts give the outside edges a solid foundation so nothing is cantilevered or unsupported. And this is gonna depend on what you got going on down below. So mine was concrete, so I just put them in little bases. So you need to research that separately for your specific situation based on whether you have dirt, concrete, gravel, whatever else could be down below. So I use pre-cut stringers that have 3 steps, and I secured them to the front of my box or that top step with some joist hangers. need to get ahead of something because I know the comments are coming. So normally this metal part holding up this slanted stringer is gonna be angled on the bottom. Instead, I just cut a little notch into my stringer and slid the joist hanger inside it. Some of you are going to rush to the comments right now to tell me that this is going to weaken the stringer and it's going to split. I hear the concern. I would take you more seriously if this was a 10-foot tall staircase on a deck and if it was the only thing bearing the weight. You see how there's 7 stringers? It's important to note that this is way overbuilt. You usually only need a stringer about every 16 inches, so 7 for an 8-foot long staircase is aggressive. And that's overkill by design. Number 1, so those stringers are not gonna split, they're not bearing the full weight. Number 2, we get a lot of ice and snow, so I wanted more stringers so there's no saggy boards in the middle, everything is well supported. Using structural screws to screw these 2x6 boards into the stringers, that's by design because I kind of wanted this accent. It's like if we're gonna have a screw there, we might as well like make it into a design moment. This build may look a little complicated, but it's actually beginner friendly because you only need to use a saw a few times. Number 1, to build that top step. Number 2, to cut that groove for your stringers, or you could just buy like the 45-degree angle ones and not worry about it. And then it's 8 foot long. So basically all the deck boards and the 2x6s come in 8 foot long pieces. You can just buy them, plop them right in, and you don't really have to cut a lot of things, which is great if you don't want to use a saw. And then on top, I just use deck screws. You can visit this video to check out how to build a floating deck and find my top secret tool for how to completely hide the screws on top so you won't see them at all. But I was working fast and I just screwed the screws in. You can see screw holes, not a big deal. You want to let your wood dry before staining. So if you paint or stain wood that is still wet, because pressure treated wood, remember, they use a liquid kind of chemical to soak the wood so that it lasts longer. That needs to dry out completely because if you paint it while it's still wet, it's going to trap the moisture inside and cause your boards to rot in like a few months to a year. It's going to not last at all. So let it dry out. You know it's dry when you don't see like green streaks and it's going to look like brown and dry. You know that it's dry because the way that it is. This is my very favorite stain. It is magic. So bare, semi-transparent wood stain, it completely waterproofs and it gives just enough color to really make it look like polished, but you can still see through to the wood grain. So it's like the perfect Goldilocks balance. I've been using chestnut on all of my projects. It's kind of a classic like mid-tone brown, so that's what I used here, but it comes in a bajillion colors, so choose your poison. This makes it look warm and natural rather than like painted over. Last step, and honestly the most satisfying, and if you've been around here long, you know what I always say, which is that the best way to transform a space is lighting. People will tell you paint, and paint is important, but lighting is more important for things looking elevated and polished. I got some step lights and they're solar powered, so I just screwed them in on each step on either side. They come on automatically at dusk and they look amazing. Not only does it help you see the steps in the dark, it makes everything look so polished. There's no wiring, no electrician, just a drill to screw them in. I will link them in the description. They really took this build to the next level and I would not skip these. I may have experimented with quite a few different door colors. But anyway, I've walked up these steps every day since I built them, and they still make me smile every time. That's the thing about your front porch. It's the first thing you see when you get home, and it sets the tone for the whole house. The before was fine, safe, functional even. But the after, it's warm, it's intentional, it's exactly what I wanted, and it only cost me under $350 and one weekend. Okay, here's the full cost breakdown because I know that's why half of you are here. Everything is linked in the description. If you like this project, you should follow so we can build more beautiful things on a budget that are actually functional and cool, and we don't have to do it the hard way. So, stick around. I'm glad you're here.
Now I found the flow. I'ma need you to